You kind of mentioned this a bit. What's the challenge this year for you in having so many new faces? I think I counted 39 guys if you count the walk-ons that are true freshmen, and you're gonna have to probably play some of those guys. So what's the challenge for you with having that sort of a wrinkle?
Yeah, not really a challenge. I haven't seen it as a challenge, more as an opportunity because you like these guys. I think I've said this numerous times. I love the rookie mentality. I absolutely do. And I know I say it in a way where, hey, they're just dumb enough to go out there and make plays. That's kind of a joke, and I talk to these guys about that. But it's the rookie mentality. If you don't have that every year, and I think if you go back and just listen to players over the years, Peyton Manning, he acts like a rookie every year. And so these guys, yes, experience, what does that mean? You haven't played yet. Certainly confidence can make up for that at times. And I think we have enough experienced players that are around these guys, depending on which of the young ones we need to play, that are going to step up and help those guys go out there and contribute and do it successfully. When you lose somebody that's played at positions like we have with the guys that graduated, it's not just the position that of the new guy that comes into that position that has to step up. It's everybody else that's played. They need to elevate their game. Tanner Vallejo, Ben Weaver, Brett Rippon, our tight ends, Alec Dans, Jake Rowe, those guys, they've got to elevate their game too when you have some new faces that come in there. But certainly you can go back. Everybody didn't know about Doug Martin at one point. Nobody knew about Brett Rippon at one point. I mean, there's so on and so forth. These guys need to have opportunities to play. And there's going to be a few of them that are probably going to get that chance at some point. Might be in the first game here. None of those guys right now are slated in the starting position, but you do have to have depth, and you're certainly looking at, all right, all the what ifs. This happens, this happens. We're going to prepare this guy to be ready to play. And Jeremy McNichols was probably the best example that got a chance to play later in the season, where we had him, we were preparing him, we were taking him on trips, and all of a sudden, hey, it's time to play. And it was I think it was game 5 or 6, right around there. And that might happen with some of these guys. Might be ready to go play them right away. But when we do that, and if they play, they're going to play. And they're going to play significantly, because we want to make sure we get them out there and give them a chance. Say, you're here to do this, and that's the opportunity we feel like is best for you. Let's go play.
Brett, earlier, a week ago, said that this year he wants to be more involved in the game plan process and all that stuff. So just kind of curious how he's taken more initiative in those regards, and what could the potential benefits from that be?
Yeah, if you ever see him go like this to the sideline, he's like, I got it. He's just calling his own play. Well, here's one of the things. I think it's really a great exercise to give your quarterbacks, all right, how we game plan. You give them the game plan, and you tell them, all right, here's the games, go game plan it. And I've done that in the past, all right, with all the quarterbacks I've coached, and I get their game plans back. It's filled out just like I would game plan it, and I look at it, and I see if what they have on there. Now, majority of the time, they got a lot more passes than they do runs, all right? That's just the nature of playing that position. Like, we should throw it every time. But certainly, you're trying to teach them, how we think as coaches, and certainly I want them on the same page as what I'm thinking in the game plan. And I think that's just been a great exercise for all these guys, and they've all had a chance to do it. Probably our quarterbacks, when they walk out of this program, if they choose to, they've probably got a pretty good opportunity to go coach and probably have some knowledge of the game. So those type of tools that we can give them and have them do those type of things, I think is important. And then you also, as a play caller, get a pretty good idea of, we really feel like this is a great play. He might rank that play as the 5th one out of 5. And now you're going, okay. Either you're going to really argue it and go, no, you're not seeing this the right way, or, hey, if he's not comfortable with it, then you're not the one out there playing. Trust your guys, trust your players. They got to go out there and execute.
You mentioned that Kelly and Butler is one of the most improved players this year. What ways have you seen him better, and how do you think he's going to be incorporated in the next game?
Oh, number one is blocking. Just start. You wouldn't think that for a wide receiver right there, but just in practice, We do a blocking circuit. We spend time on the drills. It's not just the O-line, D-line, and tight end, or excuse me, O-line, tight ends, and running backs. Excuse me. We put our wide receivers through it as well. And he's just gotten after it. And probably one of the examples in practice, not many people take on Tanner Vallejo. And I wouldn't say he won the battle necessarily, but he went right in there and threw his face in there, and he was fitting up, and he was moving his feet, and you could see that aggressiveness and probably the confidence that's come from him having a better understanding of what he's doing out there. Obviously catching the football. You know, one of the big things with him is he came in here, a lot of body catches, a lot of going up and trying to use his body, now his hands. He's really emphasized that. And he's made some spectacular catches in practice. So, you know, he's a guy that I just think, and consistently too, you know, there's been no bad days with him. He's just come to work every day, he's smiled, and that's the football part of it. Just, I think his overall just being comfortable here, you know, and knowing what his role is and knowing what he's capable of doing, really has stood out.
Is there something special about the first game? And obviously, you know, there's some unknowns on both sides, but what is it about the first game that excites you as a coach? And with all the outside noise and talk and stuff, how do you think the team is kind of focused going into the opener?
Yeah, well, the first game is exciting because you get to go play. And this is why you do this. You want to go play. As coaches and players, you want to go out there and you want to compete. You want to see what the plan you put together, all right, how is it going to be executed? How are you going to go out there? What type of adjustments are you going to make? How are you going to handle the adversity you've been preparing for the last 8 months? That's really when it comes down to it. You know, you're going to see guys crack, fold. Is everybody going to be poised and handle it the right way? And certainly, we put a lot of work in, all right, year round to go out there and spend 3.5 hours on Saturdays to have some fun. So don't ever take that for granted. Yes, you know, the understanding of winning and different things like that, but football's fun. And I think our guys enjoy it. I think we certainly enjoyed it as coaches. You know, the first game, just the unknowns. And I think this too, you talk about the opponent. I think every team is saying we have unknowns about whoever we're going to play, but they're also sitting there going, we have unknowns about how our guys are going to go out there and play as well. And you're going to know a lot about your team after game one, and then your adjustments will come leading into the second week.
You had a competition of left tackle throughout fall camp. I'm just curious, has anybody emerged there? And I mean, at Fall Fan Fest, we saw and Archie was there, and I mean, mostly because Will wasn't partaking in practice. But has anybody emerged there?
Yeah, Archie's certainly done well. Yeah, I would say this. Day to day, it's been interesting. Archie's played for us and have full confidence that he can go out there and be a starter. And then you go back and forth with Will and Archie. You really do. The thing about this week, you know, Will was sitting out. Will had a little bit of a back tweak, so he could have practiced, didn't have to, not at that point. Will's a senior. He's been playing a lot of games over his career, so it's one of those decisions. Hey, sit him out for the day. Let's have him back for game week. I feel good about both guys in that role. Now, I don't think we're going to get into a bunch of back and forth, but certainly both guys can do that. And by Wednesday of this week, when we have our practice today and our practice on Wednesday, that decision will be made going into Thursday's practice, because now we're going to fine-tune it. But I'm not worried about the continuity of the O-line. Those guys have worked together with them so much in the last 20-some practices that we're going to be in good shape. But either way it goes, I would expect one or the other to also have a chance to be in there and playing as well.
Okay, two quick ones if I can. I guess Chance wasn't with the first or second team defense, at least in that open practice, but he is on the depth chart. Just want to make sure if he's good to go. And also a sub question, Ben Weaver, just hit your thoughts on what makes him a captain for you.
Yeah, well, I hit the Ben one earlier, I think a little bit. Sure. I could go back and retouch on that one there. Alexander Madison ran with the ones, and I guess you could assume he's our starting tailback as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into the depth that was out there at the one open practice we had. And as far as Ben Weaver goes, you know, like I said before, Ben Ben is a take charge type guy. He's not afraid to throw himself out there. And certainly, as we did this, we brought this group in here and we put our team through a couple days of training is what we did with a group called the program. And they come in here and it's about doing things exactly the way it needs to be done. And you ask for volunteers. Nobody knows who's going to volunteer. You certainly don't know what you're getting into. Ben's one that jumps right up there. And he was thrown in the fire. And he had to take it, for a couple hours. And he was able to lead. And that's one thing. I mean, most people won't do that. They won't throw themselves out there. They won't take a failing until you succeed. All right? Most of them will just quit. That's just the nature of a lot of people. And Ben was put in that environment, and he kept attacking it and attacking it and attacking it. What we were able to accomplish from where it started to where it ended, all right, was off the charts. And that was a great example right there. I think everybody at that point, when it was all said and done, it was a lot of hard work. They're like, all right, this guy took charge and led us, and they listened to what he had to say. So those are just small little examples of what he's meant to this team.